Hello everyone, KermMartian here, back with Train Simulator 2021. This is KermMartian Live number 45 and episode 8 of my Train Simulator 2021 series. You'll be operating the 1A230855 Holyhead to London Euston service from Llandudno Junction as far as Chester. Today you'll be calling at Llandudno Junction, Colwyn Bay, Rill, Preston, Flint, and Chester. At Chester, another driver will take over from you. We are on the North London line here in Train Simulator, North Wales coastal line in Train Simulator, and I will be mispronouncing all of the Welsh things. I apologize in advance for not pronouncing these place names properly. I've been trying to make the English names be correct. Thank you to Rosemary in the chat there for guiding me on many of those proper pronunciations, but Wales is a whole other kettle of fish. So I really do need to have another British friend, or in this case, a Welsh friend, who can correct me. I do, of course I dedicate this stream to the healthcare workers. I will also do performative clapping for them rather than give them more money. Alright, let's get this started. Ooh, this is apparently a diesel train. Well, that would make sense since we were just talking about how this route isn't electrified. Get our doors open. Turn some headlights on. What else do we need to do? Get it forward. Kill the AWS. Let's see, it looks like we have dynamic brakes and brakeity brakes. Nope. We have a combined brake throttle. So that is this guy right here. So, yep, combined brake and throttle. I hear another train coming. Where are you, other train? There you are. Hello, train. Thank you, Rosemary. I will try. Let's find some windshield wipers. Windshield wipers. On. I don't think we get it slow and fast. I think we just get on and off. Yep. Good job, Train Simulator. Who needed fast anyway? Alright, timeliness bonus. Doors are closed. Let's get going. Now, we're going to do something I haven't done in my streams that I've been overlooking. So let's notch up to power 2. Now let's idle and make sure we actually roll properly. That's a good roll. Let's put on some brakes. Speed comes down. Alright, we can go. So a rolling brake test, which is, at least in the US, de rigueur. I would assume it is in the UK as well. Let's keep an eye on that speed. This is a career scenario, and 1,000 points is always our goal. Pretty sure it said I got 144. So why does my score say 143? That's interesting. Also, I think I need to find out what the horn sounds like on this. Only the one-tone horn. Alright. No two-tone horn. Now, our whole train is in the 45 mile an hour zone, so 45 miles an hour it is. It is snowy in Wales. I don't know how common that is. That means our visibility is quite low. Quite low indeed. AWS testing. And we have a green. Point at it. I think I've mentioned before that sometimes I follow the idea of pointing at things one should be aware of, like signals and signs, when I am operating a real-life trolley service. It's one of those, I think it's Japanese trains, like commuter trains, subways, where they do that as a way of reminding themselves to pay attention to signs and signals. Like, look, I acknowledge that thing right there. Could be wrong about that, but that is my memory. So this is our train today. There is another train today. This is a screenshot. Yep. That's a screenshot right there. Very good. Carry on. We are fully wrapped up and heading towards 85 miles an hour. Our next stop is Colwyn Bay, platform 2, 2 3/4 miles. And as always, I'm going to have to get used to the braking performance of this train. Can I stick my head out the window? I can. I can stick my head out the window. Does mean I have to keep my eye on the little exclamation point on the screen for AWS alerts, because I usually can't hear those when I'm outside the cab. Since it's so loud, we are reaching 85 miles an hour, powering off. Actually, staying in notch 1. There is a road right next to the train right away, so that is nice. The cars can watch us and be jealous that they are not in a train, envious rather, that they are not in a train and we are. So this is a new route, a new train, and we are in the snow. I have not done the North Wales Coastal Line at all before, on or off stream. So this is a learning experience for me. I also have not done anything in this particular train. Do we have our number on the front? We don't. Remarkably devoid of numbers. 221. So we'll see what the braking performance is like. Well, for one thing, we need to get under 75 miles an hour, but that's not going to be a problem. Actually, it looks like our brakes might be just fine. The Class 221 is also known as the Super Voyager. And it is, I don't know, I think it's a pretty snazzy looking, high-ish speed train. Put some brakes on and start slowing down for Colwyn Bay. You can hear that diesel prime mover now idling in the back there. I think we're going a little bit fast. Yes, I think we're going quite a bit fast. Uh-oh. Yep, we're going way too fast. Oh boy. We have gone to something in Chinese. That's exciting. All right. Doors. Folks riding today's service, if you are in the first car, please make your way back to the second carriage to disembark at Colwyn Bay. This station stop is Colwyn Bay. Alright, so I had to go into what I assume, based on those Chinese characters, was full service, although unclear. It didn't seem to be emergency because Train Simulator didn't yell at me for doing that. That was exciting. But we overshot the station by one carriage. Now we know. Folks, please forgive your trainee operator today for running their first service on this particular train, on this particular line. Do not be nervous. Everything will not go terribly wrong. We will not be swimming in any lakes today, but we may overshoot stations. They do. I kind of like them, from the top rather than from the bottom. I think it's a good look. Sub-Nerd. That's a good name to have. Hello, Sub-Nerd. Aren't we all, in our hearts, some nerd? I feel like that's a title, a label that could apply to many of us. Some nerd. Oops. Just take a look at the back of our train here at Colwyn Bay. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So each section is 4 coaches, and we have 2 of them coupled together. Very nice. So that gives us 8 carriages all together on our train. All right, almost time to go. Timeliness bonus. Doors are closed. Off we go. 75-mile-an-hour zone. No particular signals to pay attention to here. Except I do see green in the distance, so we're good to go. All the way to notch 4, why not? So what brings you to the stream, Sumner? Do I know you from Chematech or just wandering by from other places on the internets? Ding. There's the ding. 45 miles an hour. Next stop is going to be... Oh boy. Rather, not the next stop, but we're going to be going through Ambergel and Pensarn. I apologize, British people. People of Wales. As Rosemary said earlier in the chat, as you can see on the stream, I need to make more UK friends who can tell me the correct pronunciation of things. Ah, it is you, NYQBGCD. Thank you for joining again. It's good to have you with us again, and let's not speed. I'm not going to jinx myself by saying I want a perfect score, but that is always what I strive for. We're going up a little bit of a hill here, 1 in 250, as you can see on the HUD at the bottom. Certainly the right thing to do to use the HUD with my unfamiliarity with this route. Even though, as I said last time, my goal is to, at some point, do some scenarios with no HUD, where I just know enough about the station stops and the speed limits, / get all that information from the wayside signs that I don't need the HUD. Because real life doesn't have HUDs like that. Yet, at least. I don't know what would happen first, automation of trains or adding a HUD like this. I feel like a HUD like this would be too distracting for a driver, too much to look at. Or an operator, if you're here in the US. Have you been playing Euro Truck Simulator, some nerd? There's the AWS thing, telling us all is well. There's a green signal, I'm pointing at it mentally. Speeding? Son of a gun. We started going down, well, we were no longer going up a hill, I should say, and that's what went wrong. That is what went terribly wrong. That's alright, we'll still get a gold star, if all goes well from here. Hey, Michael Valentino, glad you are able to make it and multitask. I think I've mentioned many times on the stream that I got into Train Simulator multitasking, watching Moleman978's videos while I was doing my work. Let's get up to 85 miles an hour. So I fully support Train Simulator with some multitasking. It's a very good combination. Especially, I mean, compared to some other games, Train Simulator is such a... Can be, especially watching someone else, not so much playing it, but can be such a zen game. In fact, I took that concept so far that one of the videos on my channel, I forget which Train Simulator it's from, it might be 2018, is me driving the London to Brighton line in the snow with some peaceful music and no talking, just peaceful trains in the snow. And I quite like that video. I think it does a good job of bringing out the zenness that can be just riding along in a train in the snow. I don't think my coffee's working yet. I will drink more of it. Much better. I'm just glancing at information about these trains, so we don't have to stop here, by the way. We can just go through the station. Information about these trains while we drive along. Green signal. Like, they are tilting trains. They're much like the Class 220 Voyager, but these Class 221 Super Voyagers have tilting mechanisms, so they can go much faster. Tater, you missed the stream where I think I referenced this. Yes, I know I referenced this last Saturday. Last time I played Train Simulator, episode 7 of 2021. The Christmas Eve, where I finally did what many people have been requesting, which is try to get a train into a lake. That footage is not found. That footage is 100% missing from the internet, but there was definitely a lot of peer pressure to try to do the opposite of my usual professionalism. Timeliness bonus, very good. And get a train into a lake. No comment about whether that was successful or not. I do like, trying to play Train Simulator properly. For some reason, I'm definitely, I don't know. What's the alignment? Lawful, either lawful neutral or lawful good. I wonder if I missed a whistle board. Probably lawful neutral. Doing things the correct and ordered way definitely appeals to me. So playing Train Simulator properly and not crashing my trains is what I like to do. Maybe the footage is in the lake as well. Indeed. Indeed. I wouldn't be surprised if some mischievous viewers of mine archived any footage that may or may not exist, simply because they were clamoring so much for a train to end up in a lake. But unclear. This was a relatively recent addition to Train Simulator, this route. I think it was possibly one of the included routes in Train Simulator 2020. I don't remember buying it outright. So far, it's hard to see in the snow how impressive visually it is as a route. Come on. Frame rate struggling, as it does. With the low draw distance of the snow, it really just looks like there's lots of little short house trailer sorts of things around the tracks. What are those? They do look like little trailers. Or little one-story houses. Our next stop is going to be, again, I apologize, people, Wales, Rill, let's call it Rill, and be wrong, but, What can we do? For you Welsh, do you want to correct me? Please do. Commenting after the fact in the comments of this video where it lives on YouTube would be very helpful. Even more helpful would be joining me live and telling me what I'm doing wrong and how I can pronounce these things properly. 75-mile-an-hour zone as we cross a little bridge and wave hello to another train and have the frame rate tank. Wait, that's not another train. That's just a pile of ties. My mistake. This is the problem with snow. Makes a pile of ties look like an approaching train. We got an AWS alert for the speed limit. I had my head poked out of the cab, so we didn't hear it, but I did see the yellow exclamation point pop up on the HUD. Now, based on our experiences last time with that rather abrupt stop, I'm going to start slowing down a little bit more, a little bit further out of the station, and hope that goes better. AWS? Ding. Very good. 48 miles an hour. That's a lot better. I think we entered the station at about 50 miles an hour last time. Alright, let's get some brakes on. There we go. Alright. So, when you put some decent amount of brakes on, hello, statement box, this thing actually slows down pretty well. We are fanning the brakes a little bit. I apologize for that lack of professionalism. Hello, train. Ooh, that's also a diesel train. Obviously, these tracks are not electrified, so everything is going to be diesel. One carriage left to get on the platform. And we're good. Here is the... That looks like the 4 or 5 car stop, so we should have stopped further along the platform, but no worries. Doors? There we go. Doors were a little bit hesitant. Hey, Eames. I should be streaming at 1080p. My computer is recording at 1080p. My internet should support streaming at 1080p. And my depending on whether the encoding is done on my GPU or on my CPU. I guess it's probably being done on my CPU. I admit that my computer is a weird mishmash of eras of technology. My graphics card is about a year old and quite powerful. My CPU is on the older side at this point. I think it was from 2000. I want to say 12. I think I have a 2012 K i7. I don't remember which generation of i7. But there goes the train. Bye, train. But it is not as powerful as my GPU, so I think it is a bottleneck. And my RAM is disgraceful, 12 gigabytes. I will have to check after the stream to see if indeed I'm only streaming at 720p and if I can stream at 1080p, because that would certainly be preferable since I'm recording at 1080p. Almost time to port Rill. I'm going to go with Rill. I'm sorry, Welsh people. 10 in the morning, but the snow continues to snow. Alright, we got our timeliness bonus. Let us release our brakes. Send their horn. And get going. We are on the North Wales Coastal Line, operating the Class 221 Super Voyager. And our next stop is Prestatyn. Featured in today's stream are my Welshman's pronunciations, the Class 221, Snow, and No Lakes. Got much quieter when we got out of our train. Hello, signal box. Alright. As you can see, as I discovered at our previous station, we are actually 2 4-coach sections coupled together to make an 8-coach section. What are you up to today, Eames? I'm glad you were able to join the stream this time. I'm sorry you were so busy looking at couches last time that you couldn't join. That is perfectly fine, Eames. I was just saying to Michael Valentino that I highly recommend multitasking with trains. I feel like Train Simulator is perfect background between the soothing train sounds and hopefully the soothing narration, and occasionally glancing over to see that the train is indeed wandering along, wiggling towards its next station. So, good for multitasking. One of the problems is that it's so peaceful and pleasant to, especially as a passenger. Oops, that's not the passenger. Look out the window of a train. Is that when I'm riding a train myself, I often find that rather than work hard on whatever work I brought to do too often, I lose 10 or 15 minutes just sort of staring out the window, watching the scenery in the world go by, and getting lost in thought. I mean, I'm not complaining too much. It's very pleasant, but it is definitely not perfect for, just sitting and focusing, concentrating, because it's so nice outside usually. Even when it's snowing or raining, I find it so peaceful to be on the train. Speeding. You're speeding. And you're lagging, so you're not letting me reduce my speed. Thank you, Train Simulator. Thank you very much. We should start slowing down for this station anyway. Prestatyn. Do I just keep missing the whistle boards for these crossings, or are there none? I think there are none. That's interesting. We are slowing down too much too quickly. I would definitely classify these as trains that are better at stopping than they are at going. Even even with that first disastrous stop taken into account. Where is our 8-car marker? I guess it's an S-car stop. We will stop at the S-car marker. Is our whole train on? Yes. Yes, it is. But the doors didn't open. Well, that's irritating. That train is on the platform, Train Simulator. So, I think I've discussed this before, how this works. So when we have an S-car marker, that means trains of any length stop here. When we have other numbers on markers, then depending on the number of coaches we have on our train, number of carriages, that is where we're supposed to stop. In this case, I should have pulled up to the S-car marker, and that would have made Train Simulator happy and gotten all of my doors to open. Oh well. What else can I tell you about the Class 221? They are currently divided between two operators, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country. I believe, let's see, yeah, so what is pictured here in Train Simulator as Virgin, I'll go over here so we can look at this livery. This Virgin Trains is actually now Avanti West Coast, which operates the West Coast Main Line between London, the West Midlands, Northwest England, North Wales, and Scotland, and connects 6 of the UK's largest cities with a combined population of 18 million peeps: London, Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. So, that is true. Let's see. In June 2017, the Department for Transport announced that 3 different operators had been considered. One of them included the Virgin Group. Avanti West Coast commenced operations on 8th December 2019. So it's only been a year and a quarter-ish that this livery is out of date. So there we go. Off we go. Next stop is Flint. If that's not Flint, I will eat my hat. I don't know how I can mispronounce that, but based on experience, you never know. Ha! Streaming on every floor. I am all over your house. This is very exciting. Amusingly, my stream monitor says 3, so because I don't think you're the only one watching, it seems to be counting all of your floors as a single viewer. That's really funny. I guess it knows how to deduplicate. You can't just get the viewer count up by opening up the stream a ton of times on different computers in your own house. Is this going to be a ding? A ding? Small ding? A small ding. Got a little pedestrian crossing over the tracks. We have a green signal, a semaphore-style signal, which is very interesting. I wonder how accurate to life that is. Yeah, that's probably it. It probably figures out how to deduplicate. But I'm wondering if it does it by IP address. Like, if you were not logged in, if a whole bunch of people from the same IP address would also still only count as one person. What up, Tater and some nerd? Glad you're still here. This is not as visually interesting as many of the streams I like to do because of the snow. It's definitely a fun challenge in the snow. I haven't seen too much effects of the snow. Train Simulator is pretty forgiving with things like wheel slip. Oh no! Am I desynchronized between your various floors? Oh boy. We just lost a lot of points. I don't think that's going to be a gold star anymore. I was so busy looking at the chat and thinking about wheel slip that we sped rather significantly. This is what happens. Can't let your attention waver for a second, or things go terribly wrong. Terribly, terribly wrong. There's a ding. Although we weren't in the cab to hear it, there's a green signal. Very good. Very good. As I've mentioned in many a previous stream, I have not been to the UK at all, including Wales. So I don't know how pretty this scenario's real-life counterpart is. I would imagine pretty. That is, AWS was for the 75-mile-an-hour limit coming up. But I trust it is quite attractive. AWS. I hope NikkiBot is watching and learning. NikkiBot is a Markov chain-based chat bot that lives on Chemitex IRC/Discord channel and says many fun and random things. Mostly insulting people. It was trained off one of our most famous or infamous Chemitech members, Nikki, who likes to pretend he's a terrible troll but is actually just a cuddly teddy bear. We are well into the 75-mile-an-hour limit that we are approaching here. We, just as you just saw, split off from another section of this line as we head towards Flint in 9 4/5 of a mile. I guess the upside of NikkiBot viewing my streams would be that NikkiBot would start talking trains, which would be great. The real Nikki is a train fan. I don't know if NikkiBot's also a train fan. Oh, let's see. Anything new in trains, in the world of trains since last week? This is a problem with doing weekly streams. I don't have new and interesting things to talk about since the last week. With more people getting vaccinated and more funding for Amtrak here in the U.S., there is a renewed interest, and the new administration obviously, a renewed interest in opening up more train lines and restoring the cross-country Amtrak lines to daily operation. They were reduced from daily to every 2-day operation, which has been a big issue. Lots of people have complained about that as something that doesn't actually save that much money and just is going to make it harder to bring that service back. I'm glad that a condition of Amtrak getting funding from Congress is that they are required to bring back daily service. And I'll be very disappointed if they get away with saying, oh no, it's too hard, we need the money, but we can't bring back daily service. It doesn't seem like it. It also seems like they're going to bring back proper chef dining service on the long distance trains, which is good. I think I've talked in the past about how much I enjoy the train on cross-country Amtrak trips. Part of it is that the food actually is, really good. Like, an Amtrak steak is surprisingly tasty for a steak that's prepared, as travel food on a moving train. Really quite good indeed. And the company is good too. Amtrak does family-style dining where, tables fit 4 people, and if you are one person, then you get seated with 1 or 2 or 3 other people. And it's an awesome way to just meet random people crossing the country. People you might never meet otherwise, from all walks of life, all occupations, all ages, all political views. It's great. It's a fun way to meet people. If you are an introvert, definitely a good way to get out of your shell with really minimal, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, commitment, I guess? These are people you see on a train. You're not going to have to see them again in real life unless you choose to. I met a PhD candidate studying geography, GIS, on one of my earliest Amtrak train rides. I think it was when I headed to Chicago for one of my Chemitech friends' wedding. And I exchanged cards with this guy. Didn't expect to ever hear from him again, but a year later he emailed me to say, hey, how are things going? That geopipe thing you talked about sounded super cool, and now I've graduated and I'm in the world. So it's funny how these connections can pop up years later. We are heading into a 90-mile-an-hour limit. I've been getting the highball all the way. Train Simulator's loading rate has not been quite so successful. I realize I keep my fingers on ASD because A and D are the Train Simulator keys for throttle up and throttle down. I'm also keeping my other hand on the Train Simulator keys for the brakes, but because we don't have a separate brake and throttle, those are useless, so I don't know why I'm doing that. Force of habit. We have a 75-mile-an-hour limit coming up, so let us slow down for it if we can. Oh, we're not going to do it. Nope, a little bit of speeding there. A little bit of speeding. I need to slow down slightly sooner for that. Our next stop continues to be Flint, now in 4 1/3 miles. I've also seen increasing enthusiasm around more high-speed rail for the U.S., again, especially with the new administration, with Pete Buttigieg as Transportation Secretary of Transportation. Hopefully we'll see some of those projects actually move forward. I've definitely been disappointed many times in the past by politicians talking about projects and them more being political fodder than any actual thing that's going to move forward. But we will see. We will see. Of particular interest to me is the Gateway project. Replacement tunnels for the under the Hudson River between Penn Station and the rest of the Northeast Corridor, and the Portal Bridge in New Jersey, the one that is over 100 years old and gets stuck all the time, disrupting the entire Northeast Corridor. Under the previous administration, that project basically was stopped because there was an executive grudge against it for some reason. Before that, we had Chris Christie being dumb and making it not happen. But now maybe Gateway will move forward. That would be very good. It is something we need desperately. It is snowy in Wales. I imagine it's not snowy in Wales today in the real world. If you're watching this later, it is late March, nearly February. Nearly April, I should say. Sorry, I'm looking at my speed and realizing I'm losing more points for speeding. Trees are starting to get buds. Spring is definitely on its way. It got up to 75 Fahrenheit in my city in which I live yesterday, which actually felt a little too warm after winter. What is that in Celsius? I need to get better at this. 32, 43 divided by 17 is, let's see. 30 would be 51. 45, so like what, 20, 27 Celsius, something like that? 28, 27. So it was toasty. It was toasty. I keep missing those speed limits. I've gotten so complacent that this train has good braking abilities that I am now overestimating them and not slowing down quickly enough for the speed limit changes. Uh-oh. This could go poorly. This could go quite poorly. I just did the thing I was saying I was doing while trying to avoid it. Nah. This is not professionalism. This is not... We'll excuse it by saying this is my first outing in the Class 221. Folks, this is Flint. As always happens at Flint, only the last 3 coaches fit on the platform. So if you're in one of the forward 5 coaches... Wait a second. We have 10 coaches. Please walk back. I've been saying we have 8 coaches this whole time, but there are clearly 10. How did I miscount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, there's 10 coaches. All right. So that was not the world's most perfect stop, but it is a learning experience. Off we go. No refunds, exactly. Exactly. Our next stop is Chester. Let me pull up the to-do. Chester is our last stop, arriving at 10:30. So we have 10 minutes until our final stop. Hello, everyone. Our next stop is Chester. This service will continue past Chester. However, we will be changing crews at Chester. So please be aware that there will be a brief delay as we change crews. Thank you for riding either Virgin or Avanti West Coast, whichever year you happen to be in. It snowed. Well, yeah, but you're in Canada, Eames. The livery is lively. I do like the livery on these. I'm quite fond of it, actually. It makes it look like a higher speed train than it actually is, I think, you know, with all the sweeping lines. I am fond of that. And as you know from my Chemetech red and gold, red and yellow, maroon and gold, always appeal to me. Very few things in maroon and gold can make me sad. Let's keep an eye on those speed limits and power down. You got an AWS warning there, for which I am slowing now. 75-mile-an-hour limit in 1.5 miles, and 10.5 miles to Chester. We have a green ahead, so unclear what that AWS warning was for. I guess it was for the speed limit change. That's awfully enthusiastic. Vermont has a joke, and I'm sure it applies to Canada as well, that you have something like first winter, fall spring, second winter, second fall spring, third winter, stick season, mud season, actual spring. Weather is fun. Those are some serious high tension power lines above us. Hello there. I'm going to start idling and then braking for the 75-mile-an-hour limit because we don't want to lose any more points on this route. As it stands, we're probably going to get about 850 points, which is definitely not the perfection that I strive for which I strive. Winter and construction season. Nice. Nice. So winter destroys all the roads and then construction season fixes all the roads again? Is that how it works? Not so much with the actual fixing? One of our employees had a question. My silence there was answering the question. Sorry about that. Work is never far away. And I do not recommend answering questions when you're driving actual trains. That's a bad idea. New potholes. I mean, why not? Hey, another train. Ooh, another 221. I love that sound. That whoosh, 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 whoosh of two trains passing each other. So, given that I'm going to call this like a training run, you know, the 850 or whatever points, I'm going to get 863, 4, if everything goes well. You know, not the worst score in the world, but definitely not what I aim for. I think another run on this same route right after this is going to be in order, but perhaps something a little bit sunnier. I feel like I should take advantage of the fact that, you know, I'm learning this route and learning this train and build on that. Or I could go back to the Chatham Main Line. I really wanted to do a Chatham Main Line route today, but I was sad to see that there are not that many career scenarios for it. I didn't actually do that on purpose, Eames. I did not actually do that on purpose. I can't claim that that was an intentional pun. Also, did they reduce the latency for YouTube streaming? I feel like it usually is like a minute between me saying things and seeing a response from you all being aware that I said things. And it feels like it's only 10 or 20 seconds now. We are going to be a minute early to Chester. They're pretty forgiving times, a pretty forgiving timetable here. So we don't have to get too carried away with going quickly like we just did. It is definitely more important to just focus on getting things right. OBS claims that my CPU is ticking over a 24% load right now, and that I'm getting a solid 30 FPS. So if I'm not streaming at 1080p, I don't really see a reason why I couldn't. Huh. I wonder what that's about, Eames. If it's the devices, or if they have to do some additional re-encoding for mobile devices, or what. That could be it. If you're not watching at native resolution, perhaps YouTube's re-encoding of the stream is what's expensive and adds latency. What is that AWS alert for? A speed limit, I can't see it. A signal, I can't see it. Yeah, I must only be streaming at 720p. That's definitely going to bear investigation. There's the speed limit it was warning me about. 50 miles an hour up there. But we're not there yet, so let's, keep scooting along. No smoking. Max speed 125 miles an hour. Come on, train. Train simulator, I should say. You can keep the frame rate up. There's a green signal. We're just crossing 75 miles an hour, so let's throttle off. We have a 50 and then a 30, easing us into Chester, which makes me think there's a little yard of some sort there, or we have to change tracks, or both. We shall see. We shall see. AWS for the 50 mile an hour limit. Very nice. Easing that speed right down. Ooh, that's screenshot worthy. Very nice. And we're passing another train, and we have a green. We've made it down for that 50, so I'm going to ease off the brake now. Roll right along at 45 miles an hour for now. We are not taking that switch because that's a 25 mile an hour switch. There is not the equivalent of positive train control PTC on this apparently, because it is not showing me any speed limit indication on the speedometer. Keep dropping some speed for that 30 mile an hour limit. Still have the highball, although the next track over has an amber. Restricting, I should say. Or slow. I'm not sure what the indications are called here. Hello there, Knights Who Say Knee. Thank you for joining. Well, in normal times, you'd be SOL. You would be super out of luck, because this would be the end of my run for the day. I was planning for this to be the end of my trains for the day, but I am seriously considering doing one more little jaunt in the class 221, possibly if there's a shorter scenario on the North Wales coastal. I will continue with that. So you will get, in fact, a little bit of trains. That signal is for the right-hand track, not for us, because we are in England. Well, sorry, excuse me. I'm about to get lynched by the people of Wales. We are in the UK. This is most decidedly not England. So signals are on the left side of the track, not on the right side. Automatic warning system, indeed. How's your day going, Tater? What brings you here today, / what are you up to? We are pulling in right on time. Our ETA here is 10:29:40, actually stopping at the station, and we were supposed to be here at 10:30. So this is perfect. There's our signal at the end of the platform. No need to hurry. We'll put on a little bit of braking, because there's the 10-car marker. Beautiful. Doors open. Hello, passengers. This is Chester. If Chester is your final destination, please gather all of your belongings and get off the train. Ooh, that was a little bit iffy. All right, let's get some screenshots here. I don't think I actually got a thumbnail-worthy screenshot before, but I think this might be one. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's a screenshot right there. Very good. All right. So, we're here at Chester in the Class 221 Super Voyager. I was reading about the Avanti West Coast and the British Rail Class 221, which is what this is. Anything else? Produced in 5 or 4 coach sets. They each have a QSK 19 diesel locomotive. All right, engine, I should say. You've arrived on time at Chester and have given plenty of time for the driver to take over for the service to London Euston. I'm sorry that Train Simulator doesn't have the full route to London Euston, which would be super cool, but alas. 851 XP, a silver star. As you know, we are the flower sniffingest of flower sniffing champions. I am. I'm not plural. I'm singular. I am the most flower sniffing of flower sniffing champions. So, silver star is not enough. So we are going to continue with a little bit more North Wales coastal action. But this time, I'm going to find something that is in the daylight and in the sun. No snow. So that we can actually see what's about. North Wales coastal. We're going to do a shorter scenario. Let's see. In the Super Voyager. This is a continuation of something. That's weird. The remaining portion of the service. That's a strange way to put it. This is summer, cloudy. All right, let's give this a try. An extra 20-minute scenario. Should be a short and sweet little run. And really should have started with this one because this is a shorter Class 221 scenario. But this should cap off our adventure nicely. And I'm going to strive for that gold star. And reload on the coffee. Chicken salad. I have not had lunch yet. I tend to be in a later schedule. I forget who it was. I think it was possibly... Oh, no, it was one of my friends from my PhD program who joked that I was on Pacific time, that, you know, I would be having lunch at 3 p.m. and then dinner at, like, 10, 11 p.m. And I'm afraid that's still the case. I still tend to be in a late schedule, but it does tend to leave me productive, as many of you fellow coders may know. Late night, dark, quiet, symphonic metal or... electronic techno music of some sort in your ears is a great time to get some work done. Just bang away some code. So we are still in the Class 221. We are still North Wales Coastal. Good morning, driver. You will be operating the remaining portion of the service from London Euston to Chester today, calling only at Crewe and Chester. Make sure those passengers get to Chester on time today. I will do my best. Open those doors. Now we can actually see what's around us. We have a 5-car train, so we have only one section of what previously was, let's see, we're daytime running, so we don't need nighttime lights. Let's get ourselves forward to the AWS. One section, whereas last time we had 2 of these guys coupled together. First car, second car, third car, 4th car, and 5th or power car. Very good. Very good. Each car has its own diesel power plant. Wow, time limit bonus 500. Damn. Sound our horn. And let's do our rolling brake test again. So I'm going to get us up to... Sure, that'll work. 8 miles an hour. Throttle off. Make sure we roll cleanly. We do. Put on some brake. We lose some speed. And all is well. Oh, yeah. I did see that story about the railway system that ran on Flash. Oh, hello, train. You're going much faster than I am. That must be Interesting. So I don't actually know the topology of this line very well. Did we go through Crewe on our way to Chester as a fast service? We may have. We may have passed by Crewe, or it might have been that branch that diverged and then rejoined. Cruising along at 17 miles an hour, heading towards a 20. Excuse me, a 50. Ha! Yeah, so we're basically, this is a one-stop service. We're going from Crewe to Chester. This this couldn't really be easier if I tried. I say that, watch me get, 0 points. Negative 1,000 points. Go through a red signal and have everything go horribly wrong. Speaking of which, that's just buffers. That red is not for me. We have a green. Now it is a nice day in Wales. This is good to see. I'm glad. Just entering the 50-mile-an-hour zone. And full throttle. At least until we get 50 and then ease it off. Hello, train! Yeah, look at that. That's nice. That's nice. I do like that color. I do like the livery on these trains. I find it quite nice. Actually, that's an interesting thing. Let's do a quick straw poll here. Of the people here watching the stream, how many of you are early people? You're in an early schedule, you wake up early, you're good at waking up early, and, you're productive early? Versus how many of you are late people that tend to wake up late and get their most productive work done later in the day? I'm curious. I have a theory. Now we can appreciate Wales a little bit more. It is green and nice. I can't wait to go to England and Wales and Scotland and Ireland and all of the places up in there and explore. Ride every single train I can find. Tater tomorrow. I will gladly pay you tomorrow for a tater today. Yeah, that makes sense. My co-founder, Elf Prince 13, was very much a late person, getting productive work done at 4 in the morning until he was married, and now he gets up at like 8 a.m. and goes to bed well before midnight. Which I find strange. I do aspire to that kind of schedule. I enjoy waking up early in the morning. I like feeling like I have the morning to actually do things instead of the kind of feeling that half the day is gone by the time I wake up. But I don't know. I'm not successful at that schedule. I'm much better at waking up late and banging away some work. Ah, the birds are chirping. How nice. Actually, can I open my windows? Doesn't look like it. It's too bad. Some of these trains you can open the windows. Should probably get back in the driver's seat. 6 a.m. 5 a.m. Oh, man. That's cruel and unusual. Damn. I thought like 7, 8 a.m. was early. Woof. Wow. I do not envy you that, sir. At all. At all. As much as I love cows, I would not be a very good farmer because waking up that early in the morning is just not my bag at all. That's horrible. 4 a.m. Do not want. We were about to start speeding. We didn't. That's good. But it does tell me I'm not looking closely enough at the speed. You can do it, Train Simulator. You can keep up with the frame rate. I love the pandemic home office thing. I do miss a little bit the separation. I'm sure after like 3 weeks of going to my regular office, I'd be ready to stop going in again. I have a little bit more space. I moved at some point during the pandemic, and my new domicile has a little bit more space, so I could probably have a separate office for working, but I don't know. Everything's set up so nicely in my room, including the 5-monitor desktop that the stream is happening from, that it's hard for me to decide to go sit elsewhere in my place to do my work. We have 14 miles to Chester rolling along. I think we can go a little faster than that. We have to be at Chester at 12:08, just after noon, and currently we're estimated to get there at 12:07:12. Oh, we're about to start speeding. Let's not. In fact, let's get down for that 65. I see it, thank you. There is the triangular warning sign telling us about the 65. So if I was trying to drive this without the HUD, that sign would tell us what we needed to know. Which is polite, because other places like on the New York to New Haven route, at least in Train Simulator, I don't know if this is reflective of the real world, there are not as comprehensive signs telling you about the speed limit changes. You have to rely more on the in-cab systems to warn you, or just, be aware of them. I find video calls to be so draining. I don't know what it is. Like, being on a series of video calls versus just having in-person meetings just takes my energy away so much. I bet I'm not the only one. One thing I particularly miss, especially as a CEO guiding other people, is the ability to, sit down in person and draw on a whiteboard and, think through ideas and work through technical designs. There's really, nothing you can do electronically really gives you that same collaboration ability. Virtual whiteboards, video chats, Figma, whatever kind of online diagramming, whiteboarding, writing system you use, it's just not the same. Well, exactly. That's the thing. Even like I was, when we were early in building up our startup, I would spend a lot of time just rushing all over New York City to different offices to interview potential customers and meet with potential investors and everything. And, just the, the walking or subway riding or bus riding between meetings was enough to recharge. Whereas, back-to-back video calls at home, there's neither a change of scenery nor, even in most cases like a temporal break, because, you just switch straight from one meeting to the next one. TI Freak, what's up? I've been learning from TI Freak's excellent social media use, and for the first time ever posted about the stream on Twitter. I think first time ever. Maybe I posted about a previous streaming session on Twitter. But TI Freak was kind enough to retweet my tweet encouraging his followers to come and visit if they like trains. TI Freak has an excellent channel of his own and does a lot of video game streaming, like Minecraft and Halo and other good things, and I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. TI Freak, as actually, you know, some of you youngsters, I say youngsters, from Chemitech may not be as familiar with TI Freak. TI Freak was one of our earliest administrators, and, you know, still sticks around and does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, but these days he does a lot more with our Minecraft server than with the forum and IRC side of things. So you'll often find him kind of lurking in the background, making sure nothing gets too chaotic, but you may probably not see him, you know, as much on the visible side doing administrative stuff. Which is all to say, go watch his streams, it's great. Trade. Long ago I had some streams, and by long ago I mean like 2.5, 3 years ago. I did some streams in that particular train that just passed us. Poor TI Freak. TI Freak is another one. We were just talking about how Eames has to get up at like 5 or 6 a.m. and I was saying how cruel and unusual that is. You know, you had it worse. When you were in your previous job, before you switched full-time to your current job, you know, switched your entire focus to your current job, certainly I think most days you were awake before I was asleep, which, considering we're basically in the same time zone, we are in the same time zone, is really unacceptable. I'm glad you don't do that anymore, TI Freak. We are about to start speeding. Let's not. Ooh, this is pleasant. This is what I want to be doing in real life. Yep. This is what I want to be doing. Riding a train through the lush UK countryside. Yeah, that was rough, TI Freak. That was really rough. I say that as a bystander. I can't imagine what it was like to actually do it. Full throttle! Speed and power. My philosophy is power and speed. I haven't said that once in this stream. Thank you for reminding me. Speaking of which, I can't wait for the next Grand Tour special. I think there's another one coming down the pipeline soon where they went to Scotland, which should be fun. It sounded like they really kind of got back to their roots of just being three blokes in some big American cars being funny and chaotic. Yeah, I don't know how you didn't just completely burn out, TI Freak. I'm with Eames on this. We're going to get to Chester just about on time, this says. Now we're going down a little hill, so let's keep an eye on the speed. I really wish I could open the windows in this cab. It's so nice having the birds chirping out here. Can you guys hear, you folks hear the birds as well? Don't mind me, I'm just driving my train with my head hanging out the window. It's all good. Our ETA is getting a little bit dicey to Chester, so let's keep our speed up. I'm really glad you did that, TI Freak. And I'm sorry you folks can't hear the birds. That's sad. Alright, let's start slowing down for this. 65. Then we have a little bit of tunnel action coming up after that. As you can see from the HUD, those little square brackets. I know, I see the speed limit. Or a tunnel. There's a 65 sign. Presumably they space that very carefully, so even if you're going 90 miles an hour, you have enough space to slow down 25 miles an hour to the 65. Can I give her any more? I'm an engineer, man, not a warp technician. So that's a great question, Eames. I've had Geekboy1011 join my stream before in person when he's visited me. The problem with, having people join the stream in times of COVID is the latency. Like, having them be able to see things in real time and react to things in real time is hard. 30-mile-an-hour limit coming up in 1 mile. So in person is really a whole lot better. So I do have Earth Dragon, who many of you may know from either our Minecraft server or other things, who has expressed interest in joining the stream in a more immediate way in the past. And I may take advantage of that kind offer. Although he will definitely bring chaos to the stream, which is probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. Stream on Discord. Does that make it more real time? Does that reduce the lag? I mean, that's true. That's true. They wouldn't necessarily have to be reacting to everything that's going on. I know. I see the speed limit. We're heading into Platform 1. We are well down to the 30 miles an hour. In fact, I'm going to power up just a bit because our passengers need to get where they're going. And as you can see, we're crawling into Chester, which is our final destination on today's service. Into the 30-mile-an-hour zone, almost at a 20. Let's slow down for that. Here is Chester. Beautiful. Down for the 20. There's the 20. And here's Platform 1. Folks, we will be stopping to change crews here in Chester. If Chester is your final destination, please gather up all of your belongings and depart today's train. If you are traveling further on this service, there will be a brief break here. You're welcome to step out of today's train and get a little bit of fresh air. But if you do so, please stay close to the train, as we don't want to leave without you. I don't know what the regulations are here. I did a full stop about 100 feet in front of the buffers to verify that my brakes were functional, and then did another full stop after I got the whole train in the station. This is Crew. That was kind of a gimme. We got here on time. We did not speed. We did not pass go. We did not collect $200 or 200 pounds. or 200 euros, or 200 francs. And with any luck, we'll have gotten 1,000 points and a gold medal. You've arrived at Chester on time and have given plenty of time for passengers to travel onwards to Holyhead or Wrexham. Alright, let's get that gold star. Boom, boom, boom. 1,000 XP. I would love to have you on the stream or just for a video call, Eames. I would very much like that. Yeah, I'm just chatting. 200 marks, exactly. Exactly. 200 krona, which is actually a tiny amount of money. So, thank you all for joining today. This has been a lot of fun. We wandered around North Wales Coastal. We took a snowy service that went okay. We got a silver star, and we closed it off with a much shorter sunny scenario, which we got a perfect score on. That's the professionalism that we aim for. This was fun. I am enjoying this Saturday 1 p.m. Eastern U.S. time slot. Schedule permitting, I will continue doing these as much as I can. No guarantees. You know, it might be every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, but I will do it as much as I can. I will post about these on Twitter. KermMartian, KermMartian on Twitter, same as my YouTube and Twitch usernames. I'm really not hard to find. And thank you all for joining. It's so much fun to have you all here as well, especially if you're, going about your day and you're able to have me on in the background. I would like to have some guests on the stream in the future, just do some chatting and bantering while the train driving moves along. I've even thought about, I don't know, we do HCWP on Chemetech, Have Calculo program, which is a weekly voice chat. It used to be a video chat, now it's more like a voice chat where people just hang out and do technical things. Doing that kind of, many people voice chat during trains could be fun as well, though also definitely a bit chaotic. So, give me that feedback. If you have any thoughts, post. I'm pointing down at my desk. You can't see because I don't have a video camera on, but post in the comments if you have thoughts. If you would like to correct my pronunciation of Welsh place names, especially for the first route in this video, please do. And I look forward to seeing you all on Chemetech or in the next stream. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.